think from our point of view, the sort of the difficulties around finances and benefits and people with disabilities or people with care responsibilities, it's actually having an understanding of what you're entitled to. That for us was really, really difficult. Me and my husband have always worked. You know, we've always had a need for somebody to care for Katie. And it's always really difficult because you can access benefits at one point, then those benefits stop, then you can access the benefits again, and then they stop depending on your circumstances. And one of the things we wish we'd have known is just how stringent the process can be. And I'll give you an example. A few years ago, my husband was made redundant. And so he then took on the care responsibility for Katie. He wasn't claiming job seekers allowance because he'd had his redundancy pay and he'd got some money from his redundancy. So he decided to retrain. And whilst he was waiting to set up a business, he claimed invalid carers allowance for my daughter. 50-something pound a week, not a lot of money, but it did make a difference for us. He then was ready for going into business after about 4 months. And the way we'd filled in invalid carers, we'd done it online, because you can actually go online and do it. So I'm very IT savvy, had a go and did it online, submitted the form. Then when my husband was going into business with his brother, went back online and revoked the claim. Okay, you don't need this money anymore. However, that money continues to go into the bank. It takes a while for the process to come through. 6 months later, the money had stopped and my husband was working for himself. 6 months later, we had a very, very nasty letter from the DWP about reclaiming this money, and it was as though we were benefit fraud claimants. I was a magistrate at the time. It was extremely stressful, thinking, hang on a minute, my husband could end up in front of a magistrate's court for claiming carers allowance that we'd stopped. You know, we'd got proof that we'd stopped it on those dates. But because it's an electronic system, there's no real people involved at that beginning process, and it was very difficult and very upsetting. And I have to say, I would never claim it again, personally as a family, because the whole emotional stuff that we went through then, I was like, oh, I just got a new job, and I was a magistrate, and my husband was going to be going to court for £466, it turned out. Which if they'd have said that originally, we'd have said, there's your £466 that you think you've overpaid us, done. But instead you go through this whole, and obviously if you're caring for somebody, particularly with Katie, if the family's stressed about something, she's stressed. So therefore, you're more stressed, and then she's more stressed, and by the time you've done, you've got a massive wrangle going on. And, you know, we did what we thought was right. We started a claim, we used that money because he was caring for Katie, and we ended the claim. But be aware that the online system quite often will work a few weeks behind, and things don't always get where you think they're going, and it's very difficult to follow up with phone calls saying, have you got this, is this ended? Getting through is often like a nightmare. You know, you get put on hold, silly music playing for hours on end, you know, you never get a consistent answer. So that was just a bit of our experience really.